We decided to take a road trip in the all-new Prius heading from the Jersey Shore up to Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Because it's a Prius, we stayed at the greenest resort we could find, the Saybrook Point Inn and Spa. The resort marina has electric car charging ports, solar panels, a special cogen plant that recycles heat normally dispersed by hot water pipes and other equipment to heat the pools. They can also go completely off the grid during a power outage or if utility demand is high by using their on-site generator. The luxury property even has a lighthouse suite which is at the far end of the Saybrook Point Marina and makes you feel as if you're floating out over the water. John Lombardo is the general manager of the Saybrook Point Inn and Spa.
Well, the lighthouse suite is very unique. There aren't many lighthouses that you can actually stay in, and this is one. It was actually named one of the most romantic rooms in the Northeast. So it's a tantamount to a one-bedroom suite. You are literally on the water. The room actually very, very gently goes up and down a little bit at night, so you have your own little mechanism to put you to sleep.
Down the road from the spa, there's a performing arts center named after the area's most famous resident, Katharine Hepburn. It's affectionately called The Kate, and they put on all types of performances. Brett Elliott is with the Katharine Hepburn Cultural Arts Center.
And the Kate now boasts performances of all sorts, everything from jazz to rock to simulcast from the Metropolitan Opera to anything you can think of. We kind of do it all here.
In addition to a small museum of all things Hepburn, who died in 2003, the Kate has screenings of some of Hepburn's most famous films.
We do. Once a month we do a Kate Classic film. On Tuesdays, usually at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. So we've worked through all of Katharine Hepburn's films since we opened, and now we're into repeats.
During our road trip with the all-new 2016 Prius, we really appreciated the improvements over the last generation, mainly the acceleration and handling. Older versions of the Prius used to make me nervous in competitive driving situations, i.e. the Garden State Parkway or the New Jersey Turnpike. That was not a problem with the 2016 Prius. It had plenty of power to get out of the way of snarling semis and texting twits. The 2016 Prius is slightly longer, lower, and wider and lighter than the previous model. The new design is even more polarizing than previous generations of the Prius, but I liked it, especially because the design gave me great visibility both forward and rearward. I was especially impressed with the lack of A-pillar blind spots so common on many modern cars. We got a combined 56 miles per gallon during our trip, which included town, highway, and plenty of stop-and-go traffic, and half of our trip was in 90-plus degree weather, and the Prius had no problem keeping the cabin cool. The radar cruise control was especially helpful during traffic that would slow down and then pick back up again. The lean keep assist system also helped me maintain focus during the long drive, which, due to holiday traffic, stretched into about 4 hours on the way home. The seats are extremely comfortable, and although I did indulge in a massage at the spa at Saybrook Point, it wasn't because of the redesigned Prius interior, which seems more upscale than the previous version. The joystick that serves as the transmission controller still takes a little getting used to. I practice putting it in neutral while running just as a safety precaution. I know I've said this before, but everyone should know how to put their car in neutral while it's running, in case of a stall or a car that just seems to be getting away from you. I got used to putting the Prius in park by hitting the parking button when I reached my destination, but I had to remind myself to turn off the car before getting out. Maybe it's just me, but the Prius is so quiet when you pull into a parking space and hit the park button, it's easy to forget to push the off button before getting out. A friend of mine who owns an older Prius actually parked his car at the train station, put it in park, and forgot to turn it off. When he came back from work later that night, the Prius was still running. Because everything is so quiet, the Prius beeps when you put it in reverse and the backup camera comes on. The rear cross traffic alert was especially helpful when backing out of a perpendicular space onto a busy road in Old Saybrook. The Infotainment System was easy to use as I listened to an audiobook called The Short and Tragic Life of Robert Peace. It's about a brilliant African-American boy who grew up in and around one of New Jersey's worst neighborhoods only to excel at water polo and eventually go to Yale. It was especially poignant as I drove by some of the crime-ridden neighborhoods described in the book. During the road trip, I realized why the Prius is one of the best-selling cars in car-obsessed California. Especially in its new generation, the Prius exacts no compromises from the driver. It's faster, more comfortable, and easier to operate than ever before. The battery has been moved from the trunk area to under the back seat, giving you even more cargo room in the spacious hatchback. The 11.3-gallon fuel tank means you'll have a potential range of about 587 miles, which probably explains why I didn't have to fill up the Prius during my week review, including the road trip to Old Saybrook. The gasoline engine combined with the electric motor generate a combined 121 horsepower. 0 to 60 time is rated at 10.5 seconds by car and driver, but it felt much quicker where it counts, on the highway. The base price for the Prius 2 liftback is $24,200. Our top-of-the-line Prius 4 Touring started at $30,000. Options on our test car and delivery brought our total price as tested to $31,743. For our latest real-world test drives, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow me on Twitter @GrantWinter. For Real World Test Drive, I'm Grant Winter reporting.